impending, about to happen or looming. Impenetrable, impossible to pass through or enter. Imperceptible, impossible to perceive. Imperious, assuming power or authority without justification. Impertinent, not showing proper respect. Impervious, not allowing fluid to pass through or unable to be affected by. Impetuous, acting or done quickly and without thought or care. Implacable, unable to be placated or appeased. Implement, put a decision, plan, or agreement into effect. Implicate, show someone to be involved in a crime. Implication, the conclusion that can be drawn from something although it is not explicitly stated. Implicit, implied though not plainly expressed. Impractical, not adapted to use or action in real life. Impregnable, unable to be captured or broken into. Improvise, create and perform music, drama, or verse spontaneously without preparation. Inactive, not engaging in or involving any or much physical activity. Inadequate, lacking the quality or quantity required. Inadvertently, without intention. Inane, silly or stupid. Inarticulate, unable to speak distinctly or express oneself clearly. Incessant, continuing without pause or interruption. Inchoate, just begun and so not fully formed or developed. Incisive, intelligently analytical and clear thinking. Incite, encourage or stir up violent or unlawful behavior. Inclination, a person's natural tendency or urge to act or feel in a particular way. Inconspicuous, not clearly visible or attracting attention. Incontrovertible, not able to be denied or disputed. Incorrigible, not able to be corrected, improved, or reformed. Increment, an increase or addition, especially one of a series on a fixed scale. Indecipherable, not able to be read or understood. Indefatigable, persisting tirelessly. Indicate, point out or show. Indifference, lack of interest, concern, or sympathy. Indigenous, originating or occurring naturally in a particular place. Indigent, poor or needy. Indignation, anger or annoyance provoked by what is perceived as unfair treatment. Indisputable, unable to be challenged or denied. Indistinct, not clear or sharply defined. Indolent, wanting to avoid exertion. Indomitable, impossible to subdue or defeat. Induce, succeed in persuading or influencing someone to do something. Indulge, allow oneself to enjoy the pleasure of. Ineffable, too great or extreme to be expressed or described in words. Ineffectual, not producing any or the desired effect. Inept, having or showing no skill. Inevitable, certain to happen and unavoidable. Inexorable, impossible to stop or prevent. Inexpensive, not costing a lot of money. Inexplicable, unable to be explained or accounted for. Inextricable, impossible to disentangle or separate. Infamy, the state of being well known for some bad quality or deed. Influence, the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something. Infrequent, not occurring often. Infusion, the introduction of a new element or quality into something. Ingenious, clever, original, and inventive. Inhibit. Hinder, restrain, or prevent an action or process. Inimical. Tending to obstruct or harm. Iniquity. Immoral or grossly unfair behavior. Injunction. An authoritative warning or order. Innate. Inborn or natural. Innocuous. Not harmful or offensive. Innovate. Make changes in something established, especially by introducing new methods, ideas, or products. Innuendo. An elusive or oblique remark or hint, typically a suggestive or disparaging one. Inoculate. Treat a person or animal with a vaccine to produce immunity against a disease. Inquisitor. A person making an intensive or thorough investigation or interrogation. Insatiable. Impossible to satisfy. Insensible. Unconscious or unaware of. Insidious. Proceeding in a gradual, subtle way, but with harmful effects. Insignificant. Too small or unimportant to be worth consideration. Insinuate. Suggest or hint something bad or reprehensible in an indirect and unpleasant way. Insipid. Lacking flavor or interest. Insolent. Showing a rude and arrogant lack of respect. Inspect. Look at something closely, typically to assess its condition or discover shortcomings. Inspirational. Providing or showing creative or spiritual inspiration. Instigate. Bring about or initiate an action or event. Insular. Ignorant of or uninterested in cultures, ideas, or peoples outside one's own experience. Insurgent. Rising in active revolt. Intangible. Unable to be touched or grasped and not having physical presence. Integral. Necessary to make a whole complete. Intentional. Done on purpose. Interchangeable. Apparently identical and very similar. Interject. Say something abruptly, especially as an interruption. Interlocutor. A person who takes part in a dialogue or conversation. Interminable. Endless or apparently endless. Interpret. Explain the meaning of information, words, or actions. Intersect. Divide something by passing or lying across it. Intimation. An indication or hint. Intractable. Hard to control or deal with. Intransigent. Unwilling or refusing to change one's views or to agree about something. Intrepid. Fearless and adventurous. Intricate. Very complicated or detailed. Intriguing. Arousing one's curiosity or interest. Inundate. Overwhelm someone with things or people to be dealt with. Invalidate. Make an argument, statement, or theory unsound or erroneous. Invent. Create or design a process or mechanism that has not existed before. Investigation. The action of investigating something or someone. Inveterate. Having a particular habit, activity, or interest that is long established and unlikely to change. Inviolable. Never to be broken, infringed, or dishonored. Involuntarily. Against one's will or without conscious control. Irascible. Having or showing a tendency to be easily angered. Iridescent. Showing luminous colors that seem to change when seen from different angles. Irrelevant. Not connected with or relevant to something. Irreverence. A lack of respect for people or things that are generally taken seriously. Irrevocable. Not able to be changed, reversed, or recovered. Isolate. Identify something and examine or treat it separately. Jubilant. feeling or expressing great happiness and triumph. Judicious, having, showing, or done with good judgment or sense. Juxtaposition, the fact of two things being seen or placed close together with contrasting effect. Knell, the sound of a bell, especially when rung solemnly for a death or funeral. Kudos, praise and honor received for an achievement. Laceration, a deep cut or tear in skin or flesh. Lacking, available in unacceptably or dangerously small quantities or completely absent. Laconic, using very few words. Languid, displaying or having a disinclination for physical exertion or effort. Larceny, theft of personal property. Largesse, generosity in bestowing money or gifts upon others. Latent, existing but not yet developed or manifest. Laudatory, expressing praise and commendation. Legerdemain, skillful use of one's hands when performing conjuring tricks. Legitimate, conforming to the law or to rules. Lenient, permissive, merciful, or tolerant. Lethargic, sluggish and apathetic. Libertarian, a person who advocates civil liberty and minimal state intervention. Licentious, promiscuous and unprincipled in sexual matters. Lithe, thin, supple, and graceful. Litigant, a person involved in a lawsuit. Localized, restrict the commercial operation of something to a particular area. Lucid, expressed clearly and easy to understand. Luminous, full of or shedding light. Lurid, very vivid in color, especially so as to create an unpleasantly harsh or unnatural effect. Maelstrom, a powerful whirlpool in the sea or a situation of confused turmoil. Magnanimous, generous or forgiving, especially toward a rival or less powerful person. Malediction, a magical word or phrase uttered with the intention of bringing about evil. Malevolent, having or showing a wish to do evil to others. Malleable, easily influenced or pliable. Manageable, able to be controlled or dealt with without difficulty. Mandate, an official order or commission to do something. Mandatory, required by law or rules. Manifold, many and various. Maudlin, self-pityingly or tearfully sentimental, often through drunkenness. Maverick, an unorthodox or independent-minded person. Mawkish, sentimental in a feeble or sickly way. Maxim, a short, pithy statement expressing a general truth or rule of conduct. Meager, lacking in quantity or quality. Medley, a varied mixture of people or things. Mendacious, not telling the truth. Mercurial, subject to sudden or unpredictable changes of mood or mind. Meritorious, deserving reward or praise. Metamorphosis, a change of the form or nature of a thing or person into a completely different one. Meticulous, showing great attention to detail. Mimic, imitate the voice or actions of someone, typically in order to entertain or ridicule. Misanthropic, disliking humankind and avoiding human society. Misrepresent, give a false or misleading account of the nature of. Mitigate, make less severe, serious, or painful. Moderate, average in amount, intensity, quality, or degree. Modulate, exert a modifying or controlling influence on. Mollify, appease the anger or anxiety of someone. Morass, A complicated or confused situation which is difficult to escape from. Mores. The essential or characteristic customs and conventions of a community. Morose. Sullen and ill-tempered. Multifaceted. Having many sides or aspects. Multifarious. Many and of various types. Mundane. Lacking interest or excitement. Mutable. Liable to change. Myriad. A countless or extremely great number. Nadir. The lowest point in the fortunes of a person or organization. Nascent. Just coming into existence and beginning to display signs of future potential. Nebulous. Ill-defined or vague. Nefarious. Wicked or criminal. Neglect. Fail to care for properly. Negligent. Failing to take proper care in doing something. Neophyte. A person who is new to a subject, skill, or belief. Neutrality. The state of not supporting or helping either side in a conflict or disagreement. Newfound. Recently discovered or established. Nocturnal. Done, occurring, or active at night. Noisome. Having an extremely offensive smell or disagreeable flavor. Nomadic. Living the life of a nomad or wandering. Nominal. Existing in name only. Nonchalant. Feeling or appearing casually calm and relaxed. Nondescript. Lacking distinctive or interesting features or characteristics. Notional. Existing only in theory or as a suggestion or idea. Notorious. Famous or well known, typically for some bad quality or deed. Novel. Interestingly new or unusual. Novice. A person new to or inexperienced in a field or situation. Noxious. Harmful, poisonous, or very unpleasant. Nuanced. Characterized by subtle shades of meaning or expression. Obdurate. Stubbornly refusing to change one's opinion or course of action. Obfuscate. Render obscure, unclear, or unintelligible. Obligate. Bind or compel someone legally or morally. Oblique. Not explicit or direct in addressing a point. Oblivious. Not aware of or not concerned about what is happening around one. Obscure. Not discovered or known about. Obsequious. Obedient or attentive to an excessive or servile degree. Observable. Able to be noticed or perceived. Observant. Quick to notice things. Obsolete. No longer produced or used. Obstinate. Stubbornly refusing to change one's opinion or chosen course of action, despite attempts to persuade one to do so. Obstreperous. Noisy and difficult to control. Obstructed. Block an opening, path, or road. Obtuse. Annoyingly insensitive or slow to understand. Occupy. Reside or have one's place of business in a building. Oddity. A strange or peculiar person, thing, or trait. Odious. Extremely unpleasant or repulsive. Offhand. Ungraciously or offensively nonchalant or cool in manner. Ominous. Giving the impression that something bad or unpleasant is going to happen. Omnipotent. Having unlimited power. Onerous. Involving an amount of effort and difficulty that is oppressively burdensome. Onset. The beginning of something, especially something unpleasant. Operative. Functioning or having effect. Opulent. Ostentatiously rich and luxurious or lavish. Oration. A formal speech, especially one given on a ceremonial occasion. Ornamental. serving as an architectural decoration as distinct from a structural necessity. Ornate, made in an intricate shape or decorated with complex patterns. Orthodox, conforming to what is generally or traditionally accepted as right or true. Oscillate, move or swing back and forth at a regular speed. Ostensible, stated or appearing to be true, but not necessarily so. Ostentatious, characterized by vulgar or pretentious display. Ostracism, exclusion from a society or group. Oust, drive out or expel someone from a position or place. Outstrip, move faster than and overtake someone or something. Overcome, succeed in dealing with a problem or difficulty. Overlook, fail to notice something. Overreact, respond more emotionally or forcibly than is justified. Overshadow, appear more prominent or important than. Overtly, openly or publicly. Overwhelmed, bury or drown beneath a huge mass. Palatable, acceptable or satisfactory. Panacea, a solution or remedy for all difficulties or diseases. Paradigm, a typical example or pattern of something. Paradox, a seemingly absurd or self-contradictory statement or proposition that when investigated or explained may prove to be well-founded or true. Paragon, a person or thing viewed as a model of excellence. Paramount, more important than anything else. Pariah, an outcast. Parody, an imitation of the style of a particular writer, artist, or genre with deliberate exaggeration for comic effect. Parsimony, extreme unwillingness to spend money or use resources. Partisan, an uncritical supporter of a party, cause, or person. Patent, easily recognizable or obvious. Pathology, the science of the causes and effects of diseases. Pathos, a quality that evokes pity or sadness. Paucity, the presence of something only in small or insufficient quantities or amounts. Pejorative, expressing contempt or disapproval. Pellucid, translucently clear. Penchant, a strong or habitual liking for something or tendency to do something. Penitent, feeling or showing sorrow and regret for having done wrong. Penultimate, second to last in a series. Penurious, extremely poor or poverty-stricken. Perceive, become aware or conscious of something. Perfunctory, carried out with a minimum of effort or reflection. Peripheral, of secondary or minor importance. Permanent, lasting or intended to last or remain unchanged indefinitely. Permeate, spread throughout something. Pernicious, having a harmful effect, especially in a gradual or subtle way. Perpetual, never-ending or changing. Perplex, cause someone to feel completely baffled. Persistent, continuing firmly or obstinately in a course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. Perspicacity, the quality of having a ready insight into things. Pert, attractively lively or cheeky. Pertinacious, holding firmly to an opinion or a course of action. Philanthropic, seeking to promote the welfare of others, especially by donating money to good causes. Phlegmatic, having an unemotional and stolidly calm disposition. Pillage, rob a place using violence, especially in wartime. Pinnacle, the most successful point. Pithy, concise and forcefully expressive. Pittance, A very small or inadequate amount of money paid to someone as an allowance or wage. Placate. Make someone less angry or hostile. Placid. Not easily upset or excited. Platitude. A remark or statement, especially one with a moral content, that has been used too often to be interesting or original. Plaudits. Praise or approval. Plausible. Seeming reasonable or probable. Plenitude. An abundance. Plethora. A large or excessive amount of something. Pliable. Easily bent or flexible. Poignant. Evoking a keen sense of sadness or regret. Polemic. A strong verbal or written attack on someone or something. Popularize. Cause something to become generally liked or known by the public. Portent. A sign or warning that something, especially something momentous or calamitous, is likely to happen. Postulate. Suggest or assume the existence, fact, or truth of something as a basis for reasoning, discussion, or belief. Potable. Safe to drink. Potentate. A monarch or ruler, especially an autocratic one. Pragmatic. Dealing with things sensibly and realistically in a way that is based on practical rather than theoretical considerations. Praise. Express warm approval or admiration of. Precarious. Not securely held or in position and dangerously likely to fall or collapse. Precipice. A very steep rock face or cliff, typically a very high one. Preclude. Prevent from happening or make impossible. Precocious. Having developed certain abilities or proclivities at an earlier age than usual. Predatory. Relating to or denoting an animal or animals preying naturally on others. Predetermined. Establish or decide in advance. Predict. Say or estimate that a specified thing will happen in the future or will be a consequence of something. Predilection. A preference or special liking for something. Premeditated. Think out or plan an action, especially a crime, beforehand. Preponderance. The quality or fact of being greater in number, quantity, or importance. Prepossessing. Attractive or appealing in appearance. Presage. Be a sign or warning that something, typically something bad, will happen. Prescribe. State authoritatively that a rule or course of action should be carried out. Preserve. Maintain something in its original or existing state. Presume. Suppose that something is the case on the basis of probability. Presumptuous. Failing to observe the limits of what is permitted or appropriate. Pretense. An attempt to make something that is not the case appear true. Prevail. Prove more powerful than opposing forces or be victorious. Preventable. Able to be prevented or avoided. Primeval. Of or resembling the earliest stages in the history of the world. Privation. A state in which things that are essential for human well-being such as food and warmth are scarce. Are lacking. Probability. The extent to which something is likely to happen or be the case. Probity. The quality of having strong moral principles and honesty. Proclaim. Announce officially or publicly. Proclivity. A tendency to choose or do something regularly. Procure. Obtain something, especially with care or effort. Produce. Make or manufacture from components or raw materials. Profane. Relating or devoted to that which is not sacred or biblical. Profuse. Exuberantly plentiful or abundant. Profusion. An abundance or large quantity of something. prolong, extend the duration of, prominent, important or famous, promulgate, promote or make widely known an idea or cause, propagate, breed specimens of a plant or animal by natural processes from the parent stock, propensity, an inclination or natural tendency to behave in a particular way, propitious, giving or indicating a good chance of success, proponent, a person who advocates a theory, proposal, or project, propriety, the state or quality of conforming to conventionally accepted standards of behavior or morals, prosaic, having the style or diction of prose or lacking poetic beauty, proscribe, forbid, especially by law, protean, tending or able to change frequently or easily, provoke, stimulate or give rise to a reaction or emotion, typically a strong or unwelcome one, in someone, prowess, skill or expertise in a particular activity or field, prudence, the quality of being prudent or cautious, prudently, in a way that shows care and thought for the future, prurient, having or encouraging an excessive interest in sexual matters, puerile, childishly silly and trivial, pugnacious, eager or quick to argue, quarrel, or fight, pulchritude, beauty, punctilious, showing great attention to detail or correct behavior, pungent, having a sharply strong taste or smell, quagmire, an awkward, complex, or hazardous situation, quaint, attractively unusual or old-fashioned, quandary, a state of perplexity or uncertainty over what to do in a difficult situation, quantity, the amount or number of a material or immaterial thing not usually estimated by spatial measurement, quarrel, a heated argument or disagreement, typically about a trivial issue and between people who are usually on good terms, quell, put an end to a rebellion or other disorder, typically by the use of force, querulous, complaining in a petulant or whining manner, questionable, doubtful as regards truth or quality, quixotic, exceedingly idealistic, unrealistic, and impractical, quotidian, of a recurring every day, rail, provide with a rail or rails, ramify, form branches or subdivisions, rancid, smelling or tasting unpleasant as a result of being old and stale, rancor, bitterness or resentfulness, especially when long-standing, rapport, a close and harmonious relationship in which the people or groups concerned understand each other's feelings or ideas and communicate well, rarely, not often or seldom, rash, displaying or proceeding from a lack of careful consideration of the possible consequences of an action, rationalize, attempt to explain or justify behavior or an attitude with logical reasons, even if these are not true or appropriate, raucous, making or constituting a disturbingly harsh and loud noise, raze, completely destroy a building, town, or other settlement, rebellion, an act of violent or open resistance to an established government or ruler, rebuke, express sharp disapproval or criticism of someone because of their behavior or actions, recalcitrant, having an obstinately uncooperative attitude toward authority or discipline, recant, say that one no longer holds an opinion or belief, especially one considered unorthodox, recapitulate, summarize and state again the main points of, receptive, Willing to consider or accept new suggestions and ideas. Reciprocate. Respond to a gesture or action by making a corresponding one. Reclusive. Avoiding the company of other people. Recognizable. Able to be recognized or identified. Rectify. Put right a mistake or undesirable situation. Rectitude. Morally correct behavior or thinking. Redefine. Define again or differently. Redress. Remedy or set right an undesirable or unfair situation. Reform. Make changes in something, typically a social, political, or economic institution or practice, in order to improve it. Refract. Make a ray of light change direction when it enters at an angle. Refurbish. Renovate and redecorate something, especially a building. Refuse. Indicate or show that one is not willing to do something. Refute. Prove a statement or theory to be wrong or false. Regrettable. Giving cause for regret or undesirable. Regulate. Control or maintain the rate or speed of a machine or process so that it operates properly. Reject. Dismiss as inadequate, unacceptable, or faulty. Relocate. Move to a new place and establish one's home or business there. Remiss. Lacking care or attention to duty. Renounce. Formally declare one's abandonment of a claim, right, or possession. Renown. The state of being known or talked about by many people. Renunciation. The formal rejection of something, typically a belief, claim, or course of action. Repentant. Expressing or feeling sincere regret and remorse. Replenish. Fill something up again. Replete. Filled or well supplied with something. Replicable. Able to be copied or reproduced. Repose. A state of rest, sleep, or tranquility. Reprehensible. Deserving censure or condemnation. Representative. Typical of a class, group, or body of opinion. Regress. Subdue someone or something by force. Reprieve. Cancel or postpone the punishment of someone, especially someone condemned to death. Reproach. Address someone in such a way as to express disapproval or disappointment. Reprobate. An unprincipled person. Reprove. Reprimand or censure someone. Repudiate. Refuse to accept or be associated with. Reputable. Having a good reputation. Requisition. An official order laying claim to the use of property or materials. Rescind. Revoke, cancel, or repeal a law, order, or agreement. Resilient. Able to withstand or recover quickly from difficult conditions. Resolute. Admirably purposeful, determined, and unwavering. Resolve. Settle or find a solution to a problem, dispute, or contentious matter. Respite. A short period of rest or relief from something difficult or unpleasant. Resplendent. Attractive and impressive through being richly colorful or sumptuous. Responsive. Reacting quickly and positively. Restitution. The restoration of something lost or stolen to its proper owner. Restive. Unable to keep still or silent and becoming increasingly difficult to control, especially because of impatience, dissatisfaction, or boredom. Restore. Bring back a previous right, practice, custom, or situation. Restrain. Prevent someone or something from doing something. Retain. Continue to have something or keep possession of. Retaliate. Make an attack or assault in return for a similar attack. Reticent. Not revealing one's thoughts or feelings readily. Retract. Draw or be drawn back or back in. Rhapsodize. Speak or write about someone or something with great enthusiasm and delight. Ribald. Referring to sexual matters in an amusingly rude or irreverent way. Rife. Of common occurrence or widespread. Rousing. Exciting, stirring, or lively. Rudimentary. Involving or limited to basic principles. Ruminate. Think deeply about something. Ruse. An action intended to deceive someone. Saccharine. Excessively sweet or sentimental. Sacrosanct. Regarded as too important or valuable to be interfered with. Sagacity. The quality of having or showing keen mental discernment and good judgment. Salient. Most noticeable or important. Salutation. A gesture of greeting which expresses respect or regard. Salve. An ointment used to promote healing of the skin or as protection. Sanctimonious. Making a show of being morally superior to other people. Sanction. A threatened penalty for disobeying a law or rule. Sanguine. Optimistic or positive, especially in an apparently bad or difficult situation. Satiate. Satisfied to the full. Saturate. Cause something to become thoroughly soaked with liquid so that no more can be absorbed. Scathing. Witheringly scornful and severely critical. Scintillating. Sparkling or shining brightly. Scorn. The feeling or belief that someone or something is worthless or despicable. Scrupulous. Diligent, thorough, and extremely attentive to details. Scrutinize. Examine or inspect closely and thoroughly. Scurrilous. Making or spreading scandalous claims about someone with the intention of damaging their reputation. Secretive. Inclined to conceal feelings and intentions or not to disclose information. Sedentary. Tending to spend much time seated or somewhat inactive. Semaphore. A system of sending messages by holding the arms or two flags or poles in certain positions, according to an alphabetic code. Seminal. Strongly influencing later developments. Sensitive. Quick to detect or respond to slight changes, signals, or influences. Sensual. Relating to or involving gratification of the senses and physical, especially sexual, pleasure. Sensuous. Relating to or affecting the senses rather than the intellect. Serendipity. The occurrence and development of events by chance in a happy or beneficial way. Serene. Calm, peaceful, and untroubled. Simulate. Imitate the appearance or character of. Sincerity. The quality of being free from pretense, deceit, or hypocrisy. Skeptical. Not easily convinced or having doubts or reservations. Solicitous. Showing interest or concern. Solipsistic. Characterized by the view or theory that the self is all that can be known to exist. Soluble. Able to be dissolved, especially in water. Somnolent. Sleepy or drowsy. Sophisticated. Having, revealing, or proceeding from a great deal of worldly experience and knowledge of fashion and culture. Sophomoric. Pretentious or juvenile. Sovereign. A supreme ruler, especially a monarch. Span. The full extent of something from end to end. Sparingly. In a restricted or infrequent manner. Speculate. form a theory or conjecture about a subject without firm evidence. Speculative. Engaged in, expressing, or based on conjecture rather than knowledge. Spurious. Not being what it purports to be or false or fake. Stagnate. Cease to flow or move or become stagnant. Staid. Sedate, respectable, and unadventurous. Stark. Severe or bare in appearance. Stingy. Ungenerous or unwilling to give or spend. Stoic. A person who can endure pain or hardship without showing their feelings or complaining. Stolid. Calm, dependable, and showing little emotion or animation. Strenuous. Requiring or using great exertion. Strenuously. In a way that requires great physical exertion or determination. Strident. Loud and harsh or grating. Stupefy. Make someone unable to think or feel properly. Sturdily. In a strong and substantial way. Stymie. Prevent or hinder the progress of. Subjugate. Bring under domination or control, especially by conquest. Sublime. Of such excellence, grandeur, or beauty as to inspire great admiration or awe. Submissive. Ready to conform to the authority or will of others. Substantial. Of considerable importance, size, or worth. Subtle. So delicate or precise as to be difficult to analyze or describe. Succinct. Briefly and clearly expressed, especially of something written or spoken. Succumb. Fail to resist pressure, temptation, or some other negative force. Superficial. Existing or occurring at or on the surface. Supplement. A thing added to something else in order to complete or enhance it. Surfeit. An excessive amount of something. Surmise. Suppose that something is true without having evidence to confirm it. Surpass. Exceed or be greater than. Surrender. Cease resistance to an opponent or submit to their authority. Surreptitious. Kept secret, especially because it would not be approved of. Surrogate. A substitute, especially a person deputizing for another in a specific role or office. Susceptible. Likely or liable to be influenced or harmed by a particular thing. Swarthy. Dark-skinned. Sycophant. A person who acts obsequiously toward someone important in order to gain advantage. Synchronization. The operation or activity of two or more things at the same time or rate. Taciturn. Reserved or uncommunicative in speech. Tangential. Hardly touching upon a matter or peripheral. Tantamount. Equivalent in seriousness to or virtually the same as. Tedious. Too long, slow, or dull. Temerity. Excessive confidence or audacity. Temperance. Abstinence from alcoholic drink. Tenable. Able to be maintained or defended against attack or objection. Tentative. Not certain or fixed or provisional. Tenuous. Very weak or slight. Terrestrial. Of, on, or relating to the earth. Theoretical. Concerned with or involving the theory of a subject or area of study rather than its practical application. Theory. A supposition or a system of ideas intended to explain something, especially one based on general principles independent of the thing to be explained. Thoughtfulness. The quality of being kind and thinking of other people's needs. Timorous. Showing or suffering from nervousness, fear, or a lack of confidence. Tirade. A long, angry speech of criticism or accusation. Toady. A person who behaves obsequiously to someone important. Tome. A book, especially a large, heavy, scholarly one. Torpid. Mentally or physically inactive. Torrid. Very hot and dry. Tortuous. Full of twists and turns. Tractable. Easy to control or influence. Tranquil. Free from disturbance or calm. Transform. Make a thorough or dramatic change in the form, appearance, or character of. Transgress. Infringe or go beyond the bounds of a moral principle or other established standard of behavior. Transient. Lasting only for a short time or impermanent. Transmute. Change in form, nature, or substance. Travesty. A false, absurd, or distorted representation of something. Tremulous. Shaking or quivering slightly. Trenchant. Vigorous or incisive in expression or style. Trepidation. A feeling of fear or agitation about something that may happen. Trite. Lacking originality or freshness or dull on account of overuse. Truculent. Eager or quick to argue or fight or aggressively defiant. Truncate. Shorten something by cutting off the top or the end. Turgid. Swollen and distended or congested. Ubiquitous. Present, appearing, or found everywhere. Umbrage. Offense or annoyance. Uncanny. Strange or mysterious, especially in an unsettling way. Controversial. Not causing or likely to cause disagreement or dispute. Unctuous. Excessively or ingratiatingly flattering or oily. Undeniable. Unable to be denied or disputed. Underscore. A line drawn under a word or phrase for emphasis. Undulate. Move with a smooth wave-like motion. Unimportant. Lacking in importance or significance. Unintended. Not planned or meant. Universal. Of, affecting, or done by all people or things in the world or in a particular group. Unmistakable. Not able to be mistaken for anything else or very distinctive. Unobtrusive. Not conspicuous or attracting attention. Unoriginal. Lacking originality or derivative. Unpredictable. Not able to be foreseen or known beforehand. Upbraid. Find fault with someone or scold. Usurp. Take a position of power or importance illegally or by force. Utilitarian. Designed to be useful or practical rather than attractive. Utopia. An imagined place or state of things in which everything is perfect. Vacillate. Alternate or waver between different opinions or actions or be indecisive. Vacuous. Having or showing a lack of thought or intelligence or mindless. Validate. Check or prove the validity or accuracy of something. Vapid. Offering nothing that is stimulating or challenging. Variable. Not consistent or having a fixed pattern or liable to change. Variegated. Exhibiting different colors, especially as irregular patches or streaks. Vehemently. In a forceful, passionate, or intense manner or with great feeling. Veneer. An attractive appearance, cover, or disguise that hides something's true nature. Venerable. Accorded a great deal of respect, especially because of age, wisdom, or character. Venerate. Regard with great respect or revere. Veracity. Conformity to facts or accuracy. Verbose. Using or expressed in more words than are needed. Verdant. Green with grass or other rich vegetation. Verisimilitude. The appearance of being true or real. Veritable. Used as an intensifier, often to qualify a metaphor. Vestige. A trace of something that is disappearing or no longer exists. Vex. Make someone feel annoyed, frustrated, or worried, especially with trivial matters. Vicarious. Experienced in the imagination through the feelings or actions of another person. Vicissitude. A change of circumstances or fortune, typically one that is unwelcome or unpleasant. Vigilance. The action or state of keeping careful watch for possible danger or difficulties. Vindictive. Having or showing a strong or unreasoning desire for revenge. Virtuoso. A person highly skilled in music or another artistic pursuit. Viscous. Having a thick, sticky consistency between solid and liquid. Vital. Absolutely necessary or important or essential. Vitriolic. Filled with bitter criticism or malice. Vituperate. Blame or insult someone in strong or violent language. Vivacious. Attractively lively and animated. Vocation. A strong feeling of suitability for a particular career or occupation. Vociferous. Vehement or clamorous. Volatile. Liable to change rapidly and unpredictably, especially for the worse. Waive. Refrain from insisting on or applying a right or claim. Wallow. Indulge in an unrestrained way in something that creates a pleasurable sensation. Wane. Decrease in vigor, power, or extent or become weaker. Wanton. Deliberate and unprovoked of a cruel or violent action. Warranted. Justify or necessitate a certain course of action. Whimsical. Playfully quaint or fanciful, especially in an appealing and amusing way. Widespread. Found or distributed over a large area or number of people. Wily. Skilled at gaining an advantage, especially deceitfully. Winsome. Attractive or appealing in appearance or character. Wistful. Having or showing a feeling of vague or regretful longing. Withdraw. Remove or take away something from a particular place or position. Wizened. Shriveled or wrinkled with age. Wrath. Extreme anger. Yoke. A wooden crosspiece that is fastened over the necks of two animals and attached to the plow or cart. That they are to pull. Zealous. Having or showing zeal. Zenith. The time at which something is most powerful or successful. Zephyr. A soft, gentle breeze.